Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back for another MMKK AMA. I'm Papa Stonks. Today we have back with us Elephant Money, which is one of the largest BSC projects by liquidity and market cap. So, with that said, this is a multifaceted ecosystem. There's a lot to go over, so please listen closely. SK, come on up, man. Introduce yourself to those that don't know you in here and tell them a little bit about your history in the space, and then we'll get into elephant money after that.
Yes, sir. Hello, Papa Stonks and the MMKK family. Once again, I returned. The name's SK CryptoK. Been in DeFi for 3 years, have seen it all, done it all, participated in most of it all. And I'm here to talk about my favorite one of them all, and it's Elephant Money. It is a protocol that in 2 months from right now turns 3 years old with deep liquidity. And why, while you're making all of these plays in the bull run and you want a safe place to bank your profits, I'm going to argue the case that Elephant Money is still one of the greatest places you can park those funds. So for anyone that's new, hopefully you take something good away from this AMA. And for those that are existing and already holders, let's talk about what 2024 is going to bring. So excited to be here, Papa Stonks. Thank you very much for the intro.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you for coming back and giving us some updates. I know you guys have had some new updates going on, but for those that are new and haven't heard about Elephant Money, why don't you give everybody just a brief overview of what it is and kind of what the ecosystem entails, and then we can touch on the updates.
Yeah, absolutely. So for all the new folks, what Elephant Money is basically a decentralized financial cooperative, okay? Or put simply, the first global decentralized community bank of its kind, all right? And that's what the founder, his name is Bank Teller, he's doxed, aka Tony Perkins. He's got over 25 years in executive experience in business and finance, having been a CTO at Fidelity. He's worked for State Street, and he's been coding for DeFi for over 7 years now. And what Elephant Money is the culmination of everything he has learned, all of his successes, his failures, what he's learned from the competition, what he's learned from his past mistakes. And Elephant Money, again, nearly 3 years old, is a deep liquidity juggernaut. And if I could jump over to a different screen, I should have had it elsewhere, but basically you are looking at $74 million in locked liquidity, okay? And this is across 2 LP pairs on the Binance Smart Chain, Elephant paired with BNB, Elephant paired with BUSD, locked, okay? And the central idea behind this project is the token itself, all right? So you have 3 main pillars at Elephant Money, but the foundational backbone to it all is the Elephant token, all right? This is a fee collection token, 10% in and out and on transfers, okay? But you have a treasury system here named Bertha. So I'm going to show you this pie chart. We're going to just talk about the token for all the noobs right now, okay? The token is fixed supply. It's got 1,000 trillion tokens, or 1 quadrillion. Some people like to hear it that way. And of that 1,000 trillion, half of it's already going to be locked away in this thing called a graveyard, okay? This is a smart contract that always holds 50% of the total supply. And through reflections, because Elephant is a RFI token, through reflections, the graveyard builds up to 51% and then will rebalance back down to 50%, putting that 1% spread into the BNB LP, okay? So it's a liquidity strengthening event and price hardening event. So if 500 trillion are locked away in the graveyard, what about the other 500 trillion? What's up with that? Well, that's what's available to us. So you've got the marketplace that has the BUSD LP and the BNB pair, okay? Then you've got what we call the herd. These are the participants. These are the users that hold it, making up this blue slice of the pie. And then you've got Bertha. What is a Bertha? What is this green? What is this huge share of the pie? What is that? And that is the elephant treasury, which we are going to talk about. But basically, Bertha is that number one whale that cannot and will not dump on you. It is a systematic, programmed whale to gobble up the tokens, which then pushes this ecosystem into what we call supply shock. Okay. And right now, Bertha, right here, the elephant treasury, has 198.2 trillion tokens. Remember how I said there's 500 trillion available? We have 500 trillion available. And she's already nearly 200 trillion of that. And she will eventually get to 220, 250. And then when she has a lion's share of that protocol-owned liquidity, you're going to start seeing moves on the chart. So it's a delicate balance of what we try to do with this pie chart here. But we want Bertha, the biggest whale, to get bigger. And she does get bigger from fee collection on the token itself. But she also grows when people participate in the NFTs. 100% of people minting NFTs, all of that buys elephant token, stuffs it into Bertha. Futures is an annuity style contract. 90% of all funds going into futures buys elephant token and stuffs it into Bertha. So every menu item at this website, this contract, this protocol, all of it aims at building Bertha. And when you have that happen, you start to get the LPs, they start to drain. Okay, so these shades of red right here, they shrink. And when they shrink, we get supply shock, which we can see here in the 3-year history of this token since inception, right? This is from May 4th of 2021. We have had one parabolic run. Then we had a $330 million flash loan over a year and a half ago. You would think this protocol would have died at that time, and it didn't. Then we grew Bertha back again, had another supply shock, okay? This time, Bertha wasn't as big as her first go run, but we've had some of the human sellers this time. Bertha won't sell on you, but the humans will. And now that we've had that redistribution recently, we're getting ready for the third supply shock. And this is what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be really interesting. Any questions on that so far? I know I just threw a lot at you, but hopefully you can see over a 3-year course and the value capture that happens at this ecosystem, we are still on an overall upward trend. And we've already had 2 major runs. What's the third, the fourth, the fifth going to look like? So hope you follow me.
Yeah, no, I don't really have any questions at this point. Obviously, I know about those exponential runs when that supply shock does kick in. But if anybody else has any questions, real quick, the SK does have, a pretty lengthy presentation. So speak up now if you have any questions right now.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to jump in. Primarily, we're going to be focusing on this chart, and this token is going to be pretty incredible. But let me run something back. So hopefully, folks understand the value capture that's happening here when you purchase and sell the token. Even though on this chart you see what looks like a doomsday scenario. All right, let's focus on the elephant treasury Bertha. All right. And I'm going to say of that 500 trillion that's available on this left half of the chart, we're going to talk about Bertha's sliver of that pie for a second. So back in the first go run, okay, the first go around, way back here, Bertha hit an all-time high of her bag of 212 trillion tokens, okay? Then a flash loan zapped her out, and we had to rebuild her from scratch. And at this recent high, she only had 175 trillion tokens, okay? So she wasn't quite as big as she was before, yet we still, on a US dollar chart, nearly hit a double top all-time high with a smaller Bertha of 175 trillion tokens. And even despite the top people, whoever they are, sold, Bertha still got her cut. I want people to remember that. This is better than any meme coin because those don't have value capture. Even Bitcoin, Ethereum, they do not have value capture. Okay, when you're collecting the fees, when you're getting people participating into the NFTs and futures, you have all of this economic energy that's being channeled into an elephant treasury, which punches us into a supply shock. So even though since October, we've probably had like $15 million worth of sell pressure, maybe even $20 million worth of sell pressure, yet we're still sitting on top of what, $74 million in locked liquidity? Like, hey, I don't know how many other protocols you can put in $100,000 3 years ago and walk away with 2.4 million and the protocol's still kicking. And thanks you for feeding our treasury. Because again, 175 trillion tokens way up here. And throughout all this volatility, Bertha is nearly at 198 trillion tokens. She grew in size. So what does that mean? Here's another way to look at it. We are aiming for 3 years of back-to-back supply shocks. Let me show you something. In 2022, okay, we supply shocked for the very first time. Fun fact, in 2022, Elephant Token outperformed 100% of the top 100 cryptos, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. In 2023, Elephant Token outperformed 89% of the top 100 cryptos, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, okay? So what do you think 2024 is going to look like? You think the champion's down and out? No. But let's look at the ingredients. There are 2 ingredients to the supply shock. You need a large-sized Bertha. So in 2022, I told you, she hit an all-time high of 212 trillion tokens, right? The LPs, that shaded red, remember this shaded red right here? When we buy Elephant Token, we're removing it from the marketplace to put into the user wallets or Berthas, right? Remember that? The LPs dropped down to a total Elephant Token count of 92.5 trillion tokens. So you basically got your first parabolic run up with a large size Bertha and a low LP count. That's why I wrote it that way. You see that? Then we had the flash loan, right? In between these 2 supply shocks. In 2023, we still supply shocked. But Bertha was only 174 trillion tokens, okay? Here's another way to look at that. This red, I'm not even going to explain anything on this chart other than this red that you see right here. This is Bertha's token count. So she had a parabolic run up right here, and that's what the black represents on this line, the elephant price. But then the red got zapped. You see that gap right there? That's when Bertha got zapped. And then for over a year and a half, we've been rebuilding Bertha back. That's why the red's been going up, right? Steadily. So when you have that, and we're nursing her back to health, we still supply shocked, even though she wasn't quite of size, we were still able to drop the LP count down to 84 trillion tokens, right?
That's good.
Yo.
Real quick, man, since we have touched on the exploit a few times, for the people that, weren't around for the previous AMAs, will you explain kind of what happened and how it got fixed?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me check. So, what's the quickest way to explain it? But basically, back during this time, okay, there's a second token to the ecosystem called Trunk. And back at that time, when you would mint Trunk, you'd put in $1,000 and then 75% of it went into BUSD. The other 25% bought Elephant Token immediately on the chart. During that time, it was a mint redeem flash loan on the Elephant Treasury Bertha, basically. So she has front and back door access. Okay, I messed this up. basically at that time, she had front and back door access. If you minted a bunch of trunk, it would immediately, 25% of it would buy elephant token for Bertha. If you redeemed trunk, immediately 25% of elephant token would be sold to redeem out your trunk dollar for dollar. So basically the $330 million came in, a portion of it bought a whole bunch of trunk token, and then another $260 million went and bought elephant token on the BUSD pair, okay? And with a malicious smart contract, they were able to inject all that money, loop a bunch of things that weren't supposed to be looped in one block, and it arbitraged between the two elephant pairs, like the BUSD to BNB pair, and redeeming that trunk out of the treasury for a higher mismatched dollar on the LPs. So basically a sophisticated and malicious attack. And bank teller having the keys to the elephant treasury, he was then able to protect Bertha and put a ring of governance contracts around her and MEV bot protections now, such that that flash loan can never happen. This protocol is also triple audited with PEC Shield and CertAc and Solidity. So everything's SAFU now. That was over a year and a half ago, and we've since experienced a number of attempted attacks, but they all fall flat. So this is a watertight ecosystem now. Yep.
Perfect. Thanks, man. I just wanted, I'm sure some people were thinking, like, if it's happened once, what's stopping it from happening again? So just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah. And, really at the end of the day, man, it's just another notch on the belt of like doomsday scenarios of, oh, the sky is falling. What makes this protocol special? And it's like, when you look at all the competition directly competing with Elephant Money for the last 3 years, we have clobbered all of them. We are the last one standing because we have deeper liquidity than all of them combined, right? That's what makes Elephant Money special. That's how we can say that we've already survived the worst of the worst. Can you imagine what the FUD looked like in the chat room when there was a flash loan? Can you imagine? You know how many months that lasted? Yeah. You know how many FUDders I had to beat down? And look, we're still on top. Like, come on.
Yeah, I think it was bullish overall for the project that, you guys were able to recover, because there's been big protocols or, layer ones like Harmony One that, have had exploits around, the same value and never been able to recover.
Yep. Or launched a version 2. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. There's been none of that here. So, yeah, if anything, that is a point of strength. Some of the fuddy-duddies want to come out and be like, oh, man, you gotta exploit it. It's just like, okay, and we're still standing. What about you? Where's your project? Where's your favorite one? Oh, it's dead? Yeah. What are you talking about? So this is just another notch on the belt. And if anything, I'm excited about this chart. This right here. Gonna yet again be another notch on the belt. Fun fact, since inception, okay, the all-time low of this token back in June 2021, we're still sitting nearly 100x above that. Let that sink in for a second. This has sustainably held a 100x since all-time low. Are you kidding me? Right? And we've got the mathematics and all of the 3 years of history to look back at and understand what makes this ecosystem tick. Come on, guys, think about it. That's why in 2024, when I talk about this upcoming supply shock, the third one to happen on the third year straight, look at this. Bertha, even though we were nursing her back to health in 2023, and she was just climbing up to a little 174 trillion, right now at 198 trillion, she is spitting distance from what she was back in 2022 at 212 trillion tokens of her all-time high before the flash loan changed it. It was a forced distribution in 2022. In 2023, it was a user distribution, which is healthy for the ecosystem. I'm glad they got their bread. This is fantastic for me, for a long-term believer. Come on. So now in 2024, Bertha's at 198 trillion. That's one half of the ingredients to supply shock. Guess what that other half is, guys? The LPs right here. There's 131 trillion tokens in the LPs right now. And so when we buy the elephant token, right, and it goes into user wallets or it goes into Bertha's wallet, these LPs will shrink again. And when that happens, that is when this protocol will sing, okay? And Bertha's going to be all the bigger from all the transaction and volatility, and the LPs are going to drain for a third time below 100 trillion tokens. That's all we need to do, guys. Look at the ingredients for the last 2 years. The LPs were below 100 trillion tokens both times. We do that for a three-peat, and this protocol is going to go crazy. Not to mention that we are the number 3 holder of Wrap BNB. Do not forget that. Here's the holders list for WBNB. This is all BNB on chain. What do you see in that number 3 spot right there? That is the Elephant BNB pair. So you're talking about a bull run. Whether you're bullish on BNB or not, you have to acknowledge that that dark cloud is gone. $4.3 billion settlement. CZ stepped down, put his right-hand man in place. Binance has a dope future. So if you believe in the bull run for 2024 and 5, come on. BNB is about to pop off, and as the number 3 holder at Elephant of BNB, it's going to lift this on top of the supply shock mechanism I'm talking about. Let me show you another chart. Let me show you one more thing right here. This is Elephant token versus the world, right? This is 18 months worth of data that if you compare Elephant token's price appreciation head to head with Bitcoin, Apple, the stock market, Google, all the big heavy hitters of the world, who's on top? Right? Despite the sell pressure, who is still on top? The Elephant token, bro. And for the last 2 years, while Binance has had that dark cloud hanging over its head, right? And BNB price went down from what, 450? Actually, when I look at this chart, when we did this first all-time high, that was while BNB was at $430. And then we basically double topped it with a 50% cheaper BNB coin. BNB around this time was $215. Think about that. This protocol double topped on a USD value chart with a shrinking price on BNB coin. Think about that. That is incredible what this protocol has done because it has gobbled more and more BNB. So if Elephant token has been outpacing BNB for 2 years straight, right? Because of our own supply shocking mechanism with the draining of the LPs and the elephant treasury Bertha I just told you about, we've been outpacing BNB. And now we're just, following along BNB's place. And when that pops off, so too does Elephant token. And then eventually we leapfrog again once we drain those LPs. Oh, man. So it's exciting stuff. Hopefully you see what I'm talking about. Papa Stonks.
Oh, 100%, man. Yeah, I've seen it. And, I've witnessed it firsthand. So, I'm excited to see it again. And for anybody listening, if you do want to buy some elephant money after this AMA, I dropped a link in there that you can get it cheaper.
Drop that referral link, boy.
You can get it the cheapest that way rather than buying it directly off of, Pancake Swap. Yep.
That's a really good point, actually. So what he's talking about is the referral link. You remember, guys, how I said the Elephant token has a fee collected that's 10%. It's an immutable contract, by the way. So the Elephant token that I talked about, this graveyard, and the LPs, they're all locked down. They cannot be changed. There's no backdoors. That the token itself is just the bare bones, rock solid, been the same since day one. Okay. And he was able to code something called a buy with Bertha, right? A buy with Bertha contract, which allows you to get the token for 8.5% tax instead of 10%. So use whoever's referral link, right? If it's Papa's, whichever, and then update, connect to him, and then come to this elephant page right here. Come to the page, hit the buy, and if you buy it, 0.5% of that 8.5 will go up to Papa Stonks. The other 8% goes directly to Bertha, feeding Bertha, fueling that supply shock sooner and sooner. So yeah, you can buy it with BNB straight up. Yep, good point.
Yeah, I had to get that out there, man. I want to save everybody some money.
Yep. And for anyone that might be, this is a great entry point. Okay, this is, run it back. Remember the economic engine that's operating here at Elephant Money, and understand that 3 years of resilience, longevity, liquidity is what keeps this thing thriving. Bank Teller likes to talk about the Lindy effect, which is basically however long something or technology survives and thrives is proportional to how much longer it will continue to thrive and survive. So you've got 3 years, guys. Think about it. That's an eternity in DeFi. This isn't some quick pump and dump, low liquidity trash out there. I know they exist. They're fun right now in the bull run. Look at the meme coins on Solana. Come on. But make your flips, make that profit, and then consider parking it in a long-standing financial cooperative here at Elephant Money. Essentially, too, you're looking at a for fun, Bank Teller put this in here, but if you supply adjusted the price of Elephant token, right? If you change the 1 quadrillion supply down to 21 million like Bitcoin, here is your Bitcoin equivalent of Elephant price today. It's a $13.43 Bitcoin. That's how early you still are on Elephant token, even though you might come over and look at the market cap and be like, oh man, 281 million, that's way too high. I already missed that boat. Did you though? Did you? When you consider it's a $13 Bitcoin, that's still how early, that's still how much upside we have, because we have a Bertha, a treasury model that actually value captures something that Pepe doesn't have, or Bonk, or any crypto has. We have better value capture than any of them combined. And so you channel that. Once the adoption really happens on this protocol, you best believe that we're going to supply shock, and it's going to be crazy. So, no, that's good. Oh, here's a fun graphic as well. Not that Elephant is a Bitcoin, but just for fun, guys, take a look at these two charts. Look at the first 2.5 years of Bitcoin and compare it to the first 2.5 years of Elephant. Strikingly similar. Is it not? Isn't that interesting? Just there's not many charts that can compare to the first 2.5 years of Bitcoin, namely because most of those tokens die, right? But look at the Elephant token compared to Bitcoin. I just found that very interesting, so I wanted to show this off. But yeah, really cool stuff. What other questions you got, man?
Well, we've talked about the token. We've talked about supply shock. Let's start talking about some of the other features that in the ecosystem. You did mention Trunk, where that's how the Mint redeem flash loan happened. So let's talk about Trunk a little bit. I know you like to focus on just Elephant Money, but let's talk about Trunk and what that does and how people utilize that.
Yeah, all right. We could talk about Trunk. And for any of the new people, if you're just curious, where do I begin? Since there's so many things SK is about to talk about, like what's this Trunk and futures and NFTs, just start with the token. Go grab Papa Stonks' referral link. Just start with the token. Understand the supply shockonomics that come with the treasury, and just figure out the rest later. Start with the token, help drain the LPs, and then it makes the protocol sing when we go back into another supply shock with a really healthy distribution. Oh, I wanted to talk about that too real quick. So when we zoom in, I want to zoom in on this chart because that's another notch on the belt, and why I think that a lot of the, this token's been kind of living in the flat, if you want to call it that, since all the major sell pressure since October. But so right here, this giant red candle is the largest whale that ever existed in Elephant token. So I'm going to just pull up the contract real fast. These are the holders of the Elephant token. The first four are protocol related. Okay. So you've got the Graveyard Bertha, BNB pair, BUSD pair. But in fifth place right here, this used to be 8.2 trillion tokens. This number right here. There was a top whale. In the last 3 months, the redistribution that's happened, the 8 trillion token sell is gone, which is what you see right here. This just happened like 2 weeks ago. And I wasn't even tripping. This was actually pretty cool because it bumps me up a little bit. I'm coming for that number one spot. But also, look at how you would think if the top whale dumped, and I'm talking they giga dumped. They didn't even take it out, in 10,000 chunks or whatever. They just giga dumped $2.4 million. You would think you'd see major panic selling after that. You would think, right? But did it? Nope. We're just crabbing along sideways, right? So I say that because this is a really good opportunity to position into this token for the long term, because we've exhausted most all sell pressure. You might still have some here and there, but it doesn't matter, right? Bertha always gets her cut. So anyway, moving on. Trumpet. Basically, Trunk is just a sister token, right? It's got a long history, but long story short, Trunk token used to be a stable or pegged to $1. Basically, it was a stable coin, a DeFi stable coin. And because of that flash loan years ago, the stablecoin lost its backing, right, of money to keep it at $1. So for over a year and a half, the Trunk token has hovered below $1, obviously, and it was chilling around 15-20 cents for the longest time. Yeah. And there were some contracts related to Trunk, so it actually made the Trunk token inflationary. There used to be something called Stampede in the farms. Those have now been axed. They're gone. So Trunk token is no longer inflationary, but rather it's fixed supply and deflationary, because Bertha, the elephant treasury I talked about, I told you she doesn't dump. Right here, this elephant treasury with all her $56 million right here. She doesn't dump the token, but on a daily basis, she is programmed to sell a little bit and do something with her funds, right? And one of those things she does is buys the Trunk token, which currently is like 6 cents, but she buys the 6 cent Trunk token. Half of it she burns, okay, which is right here. Over 500,000 of this has already been burned. And the other half of it, she mints this thing called Trumpet. It's a placeholder stake token. She mints Trumpet, burns Trumpet. What is Trumpet? Trumpet, in a nutshell, is a staking contract for a Trunk. This is a ratio. It takes 2.56 Trunk per Trumpet. If you put in 10,000 Trunk tokens and you wait for this ratio to double, then you will pull out 20,000 Trunk tokens. Put simply. So yeah, that's all the latest updates to Trunk and Trumpet.
And I do want to clarify for people, if you do want to speculate on Trunk, being repegged, which eventually, when it does get to a certain, I think a certain LP level, you guys are planning on really working towards repegging that.
No, it gets better than that, Papa Stonks. Key line, when I said that Trunk is no longer inflationary and now is fixed supply deflationary, there is no such thing as peg anymore. This token can theoretically go to $15, $20. There is no upper limit on Trunk any longer. So this is cool because Trunk is a fee-less token, right? This can go on centralized exchanges, and that's BT's plan. Actually, he's gonna put Trunk on every centralized exchange he possibly can, and it's gonna act like a billboard for Elephant Money, the website. People will come in and they'll learn about the rest of the ecosystem that way. But yeah, Trunk is going to go way above $1. Not financial advice. It's going to be a couple years in my opinion, but another long-term hold. It is another moon token that will the trail that Elephant token will blaze and put Bertha on a huge upside path and dollar value. That means she's going to be buying and burning a lot of Trunk, basically.
Well,
and that's going to moon this token.
Since that update, has it changed on the website to where if you buy it, it's not pegged to, $1 anymore? Because I know
all that's gone. Yeah, I remember you bought some. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was going to let everybody know the best place to buy it would be on PancakeSwap, but now you can still go through the website and my referral link.
And his referral link, yeah. Which, fun fact, that referral link only applies to Elephant token. There's no more rewards in Trunk or Stampede or Farms. It's purely Elephant token. And to answer your question about where you get Trunk, there's a nice little Get Trunk tab right here. You cannot buy it from the site anymore, but it will give you everything you need to buy it on PancakeSwap right there.
There you go. All right. Yeah, I've got all my Trunk staked in Trumpet, so... it's just going to sit there.
You're in it for the long run. Yeah. No, it's good, man. It's really good. So yeah, that's pretty much all with Trunk. I can gloss over some of the other things as well, but remember how I said, like, you can kind of think of Elephant Money like a business too. There are menu items here that all feed Bertha, right? So if you want to liken this to McDonald's, you've got the Big Mac burger by getting the Elephant token. That's all cool, but maybe you don't want the Big Mac today. Maybe you want, the NFTs, right? This is your McFlurry and your apple pie at McDonald's. Maybe you want to get some of those NFTs, right? Which feeds Bertha. Or you can go over to futures and you can get into that, which also feeds Bertha. It's all really cool how it's orchestrated to channel all that economic energy into the treasury and really get that supply shock humming along. So the NFTs, in a nutshell, this is basically one of your greatest exposures to BNB. If you are bullish on the future of BNB, right, this is what you can get. This is kind of like real estate, if you want to liken it to that too. But right now, one NFT is a mint price of 2 BNB. The interesting thing about the NFTs is that every 10,000 mints, the floor price doubles. Okay, so right now we launched at 1 BNB, and then we entered round 2 after the first 10,000 were minted, and now we're in round 2 at 2 BNB. Round 3 is going to be 4 BNB. Round 4, 8 BNB, then 16, then 32. The mint price doubles. Okay, so just like real estate, you get an NFT. You bought that plot of land. You would hope that it appreciates in value over time, right? Well, we've got that. This does appreciate over time. That floor value does go up. And also on your plot of land, you're collecting rent. Well, we've got that too in the form of Elephant token. So when you buy or when you mint and stake these NFTs, you are earning rewards in the form of Elephant tokens. So far, I've accumulated 3.2 billion tokens, valued currently at $924. This isn't just given to me as USD value. This is given to me in the form of Elephant token, an appreciating asset that's already performed remarkably in 2022 and 2023. So you're getting a really cool token. And as Elephant token supply shocks and we go through the next 10, 50, 100x and beyond, so too does my $924 right here. At the 10x, this is $9,000, right? So that's the cool part. You're collecting rent. But yeah, one of the most exciting things about this really is the doubling the doubling effect. That's, I think, my favorite aspect of this, because a lot of this, $37,000 you see right here, a lot of this was accumulated when it was one BNB. And the moment we went to round two, I saw this value instantly double, right? And I can't wait for it to double again and then double again, because I'm in it for the long term, for years to come. So yeah, any questions on the NFTs? There's pretty much a marketplace too. So you can come get it for cheaper than 2BNB. You can get it for 1.8. There's people that put it on the market and you can get it for 1.8. You can open up the marketplace and kind of sift through. Maybe you want a certain color. This is what the NFTs look like, by the way. They're not like glorified JPEGs. They're just the different colors of the rainbow. And they offer you the doubling of price every round and the elephant token in the meantime while it's staked.
Yeah, and as far as the colors go, those don't have any added, incentives, right? They don't have any added, I guess, for rarities. They don't have any added value. The different colors.
Yeah, there's no added value as far as staking and rewards go. There is a rarity score based on like the hue and the shade of blue that it might be, relative to the other ones that are minted. So this may come in handy more down the line as people do like over the counter sales and be like, hey man, I don't know, dude. We're going to trade these NFTs, but your rarity's at a 0.2 and mine's at a 0.6, bro. Mine's way higher in value. So I think down the line that could come into play. But for right now, if you put it in the marketplace, it's just a static 1.8 BNB. And they're just different colors. So collect your favorite ones. The one color, or it's not technically a color, but the one NFT that does have a special perk are the black series NFTs. So you'll just see a black or a different shade of gray. And if you have a black NFT, it will get you into future Elephant Money conventions. Okay. So if people want to talk about, what's the roadmap for 2024 and some of the future marketing events and venues that are coming up? Well, for example, in, I think, Nashville, Tennessee in June, there's a Bitcoin conference and Bank Teller himself is going to go to that and actually have an Elephant Money booth, right? This is going to be the first time ever that Elephant Money is going to be paying for a booth for exposure. And at every convention is going to be locking down a slot to talk with people. So, that's coming up. It's nice that he's doxxed and not hiding behind a cartoon character. You can actually see who this guy is and meet him. But these NFTs are going to be getting into the hands of different influencers and, contest giveaway winners and stuff. So, yeah, these NFTs are going to be good. And that black NFT, sorry, let me circle back. The reason I bring that up, that black NFT gets you into those Elephant Money conventions for free. Like, eventually, Elephant Money will become so large, there will be its own convention, Elephant Money Con, 2025, and a black NFT gets you through the door free of charge.
I think somebody here won one of those black NFTs during one of the AMAs. I think it might have been Jenna. So I don't know if she'll be traveling to Nashville. Can she just transfer me that NFT?
I'm sure she could. I don't know how he's going to do the checks and balances either, but yeah, I'm sure people are going to get creative at that time.
Nice. All right, so we've gone over the NFTs. They do pay out some rewards and tokens. Obviously, the value of them doubles with each. I guess we can call it a halving.
Yeah.
Every time that you hit 10,000 NFTs, then it doubles in value. So it goes to 4 BNB next. Let's talk about the futures a little bit, because that is a huge part that everybody participates in the ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. And just real quick on those NFTs, just understand, remember round one was the first 10,000. Well, now we've got 4,351 NFTs of round two that have been minted. So when this supply jumps up to 20,000, right? So another 5,700 and some change. When this jumps to 20,000, that's when round three starts. So that's when 2 BNB goes to 4 BNB. So if you want to capitalize while BNB is still quote unquote cheap right now, these NFTs are what you want to get at this time. Okay, because if they're doing what BNB's, what they're saying is going to do, and it hits well above 1,500, maybe even 2,000 per coin over the next year and a half, it's just imagine like how expensive these are going to be and hard to obtain. And the rewards come from Bertha. 1% APR coming out of Bertha feeds this rewards pool. Okay, and we already know that Bertha doesn't stop growing. Remember that this whole red area on the chart, it just steadily goes up. Okay, so 1% of her just continually pumping out into the NFT rewards. You're going to have a situation where, it's going to be a very lucrative value proposition in the future. So just consider that.
Now, actually, so when you do stake the NFTs, is it a static APY or is it variable to where more NFTs staked equals less rewards?
It's highly variable. Okay, so this APR is really dependent on the price of Elephant token, and what it's doing right now. Like this APR has been as high as 80%, but because of the sell pressure and whatnot, and the reversing of the supply shock that we felt in 2023, right now that APR has dropped temporarily, in my opinion. And when Elephant price starts to go up and Bertha gets even bigger, because remember, her token count's always going up, that's when these become juicy. So let me show a chart that my friend Crypto Stu put together. But when I talk about Elephant token and Bertha, that treasury, that's what you're looking at right here in this yellow. You see this yellow on the charts just linearly, steadily going up, right? But her dollar value, Bertha's dollar value, goes up exponentially. You see how this blue trounces over the yellow, right? That is because of the supply shock. And even with the sell pressure we've had, look at how well Bertha has retained value. Okay, this is really important. She's retained value, and she is primed for the third parabolic run. So when she goes on another sprint, just like we've seen right here, this is the second leg up I'm talking about. When she goes on another one of these, that means that APR on the NFTs are going to skyrocket alongside her, right? That APR is kind of dependent on that. So that's one way to look at it. That's a really good question. And basically per NFT that you stake, so I've got 58 of them staked right here. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be getting a larger cut of the pie because 1% APR comes out of Bertha to feed these total rewards. And these rewards are divided by the amount of NFTs that are actually staked. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking, because the NFTs, being available, obviously, when you've got right now, you've got 14,000 in circulation. Probably not all of them are staked, but if
only 12,000 are staked.
Yeah, if all of those are staked, you wind up getting less tokens the more that are staked.
Yeah.
But if the dollar value of the token goes up, then
correct.
It doesn't matter.
And I'm glad you brought that up because that's really important to note. Remember, because every 10,000 rounds, this floor price, this mint price doubles, eventually you will hit a point. Man, think about it, Papa Stonks. Think about this. What happens when this doubles all the way up to 16 BNB for one NFT, right? And let's say at that time, BNB coin price is like $1,000. So you're telling me for $16,000, you can get one NFT. I bring that up because eventually you're going to get a saturation point where, it's these NFTs aren't going to mint that fast, right? Yeah. So Bertha and her total rewards are nonstop. It's just 1%. That does not change, okay? But what does change is the amount of staked NFTs. Like this might be ballooning right now, and it's fast, but eventually it slows down when those NFTs get priced out. And the people that got in while they were early, they're going to see their rewards actually increase. So just like you said, right now, if everyone floods in and gets those rewards, you're getting less amount of rewards. But over time, that flips. You know what I mean? Because the NFT sales slow down. Yep.
Yeah, and like you said, if BNB hits $1,000, your token value is already 3x, just from the LP pair.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. You best believe on this chart, even if it's just BNB alone, that does it. But we're gonna break through. Like we already double topped. 2024 is the year that we're going past all time high. We're going past all time high, and we're gonna keep going. Like my mission, I ain't stopping. Okay, until this chart looks something like this. It's going to be way down here, and then we're going to be talking to MMKK in 2025 and beyond. It'll be like, oh yeah, you know, look at elephant token way up here. This is what I foresee. This is me.
I'm gonna say, you remember when you traded at 280 million?
Yep. So it's, you know, what's really cool about this chart too, man. I just got to tell you, but we've had 3 little runs. Like when it first launched, it just was in the flats right here, and everyone's like, oh, what's going on with this? Why am I holding the token? And then boom, it did like a 1,000% run. That little blip right there is a 1,000% run before the pullback, right? Then separately, we had another 900% run right here. This, the first parabolic run. And then we had a forced pullback with the flash loan. And then when you look at this, most recently, this was another 1,000% run, right? How many other tokens have you seen have 3 back-to-back 900+% runs over 3 years? And we're accumulating again? What's the 4th run going to look like? The 5th one with the supply shock economics that we have. So every time we have a run, we establish a higher floor than before, right? Before the next inevitable run. So yeah, I hope you guys are seeing the, you know, the liquidity, the longevity, the resilience that this token has, and why I'm always excited to talk about it.
Starting 101 with SK Crypto.
Yup.
So, yeah, I fully expected that pullback. You know, once you got back to all-time high. Obviously, some people had been, you know, kind of underwater for a couple years, still holding, but wanting to, you know, take some profits once it got back there. You know, just a psychological thing. So, fully expected that pullback from there. So now, you know, the redistribution is a lot better. You've got that top whale that, you know, he took some profits, which, you know, that was a hell of a play on his part. You know, 100K to 2.4 million, and still holding, still holding 2 trillion tokens. So, you know, that's.
No, he's not. He's out. He's out.
Oh, he's
yeah.
Okay.
He's all the way out. So now the top holder, whoever it is, has 2.5 trillion. So it's a good distribution now.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. That's even better. So, you know, you won't have those huge dumps. And you guys saw, even with an 8 trillion dump of $2.4 million, it's still held very well. And, you know, like you said, it's just kind of moving along sideways a little bit right now. And, yeah, definitely set to keep moving.
Oh yeah, it's set, man. 2024 is going to be the year. So all right, let's we can wrap this up with futures, right? You wanted to jump into that. So this is one of the contracts. It's actually a year old today. Oh, look at that. So January 21st of last year, this futures annuity style contract came out. Now, this is not for everybody, okay? This is where you will, you know, choose to lock up your capital. So you'll see my total value right here is 72,000, right? And this is a BNB in and out contract. And of my 72,000, you can see that my actual deposit was over 43,000, okay? But in that time, since I've been in, I have compounded up to 72,000 locked to give me a larger and larger reward amount over time that I can either claim out or compound. Just know that when you throw in deposits, your claimed number, every time you compound, you are technically claiming that reward out, and then it goes into your balance. So the claimed number is a mixture of your compounds and your actual claim outs. But basically what you have here is an ROI style contract that for $200 freshly deposited, it will take whatever's in your available and throw it into your total value. So right now, if I put in $200 worth of BNB right now, my balance would go up $200, okay? And it would roll in this 573. So my total value will go up. Now, one of the things for future proofing that BT has done, because he wants to retire from Elephant Money. He doesn't want to keep having to code this. And, we've been through so many security audits and attacks that we're at the point where he's good. Like, this system has withstood most everything. But one of the things he needs to have in place for futures is a variable yield. Okay, so it started out at, oh man, I have to refresh this page. Something's messed up the tab here. But it started out at 0.5%, and you can still earn up to 0.5% in this when the whole ecosystem is healthy. But at the moment, there's a daily yield of 0.17. 0.17, all right? And pretty soon, there's going to be an incentive feature added to this where 0.2, every time you freshly deposit $200, you'll get a 0.2% bonus on top of this group rate, I'm going to call it. So this effectively plus 0.2 would be 0.37 is what your yield will be. And the 0.2 will decay over probably 45 days. But however you do it, you can't hyper compound in this. You just focus on a weekly or a monthly or every 2 week deposit schedule to grow your bag over time. And eventually you can get your total value to a million max in here, to where at even 0.25% a day on a million bag is giving you $2,500 built up right here. So this is a cash flow engine that anybody can use, and essentially it's backed by the Elephant Treasury Bertha. So the BNB reserve right here, any funds that come in, 90% of all funds that come into futures buys Elephant token for Bertha. The other 10% tops off this little BNB reserve. And not to go into the weeds of it all, but Bertha, when she's larger and healthier than what she is right now, her token size is fantastic, but we want to get the Elephant token price up, so her dollar value is also fantastic. But Bertha on a daily basis has a sweep right here. So she's outflowing funds, and anyone who hits sweep, this amount of money will top off the BNB reserve. And when that $152 you saw in the sweep comes over here, it'll lift up the BNB reserve. The bigger Bertha is, okay, the higher that sweep amount is. So this BNB reserve will grow and be healthy enough to lift up this group rate. So the relationship between the daily liabilities and the BNB reserve is how this group rate is determined. And once we have our third supply shock for a third year in a row, this Elephant Treasury value is going to balloon, and that sweep on a daily basis is going to lift up this BNB reserve and keep this at a 0.5. So sorry, I threw a lot at you there, but this is an annuity style contract. You do lock up your funds, so that may not be for everybody.
No, it is a lot to go over, but so what is the minimum amount that somebody would start off locking up, and then like you said, in order to claim or whatever, you need to deposit another 200 and to do that claim. So what is the minimum that somebody could start off with?
I mean, you've had some whales that come in and they drop like 100K, 200K in a certain wallet at a time, right? And 90% of that goes and buys Elephant token. But majority of the people are going to be the smaller folks. So really, once you just understand the entire ecosystem as a whole, and you see we've already survived for 3 years, and with deep liquidity, we're not going anywhere. So, you put in as little as you want. There's some people out there that are only putting in $200 per month, and they started at zero, right? So when you do that, you're on a course for a 5-year plan. Like, this is a long-term annuity style contract. Okay. So yeah, you can do as little as 200 per month, and you just keep that growing as you start taking profits from other places, and you just want a small little annuity style contract to go into. This is where futures comes into play, and you just slowly build over time. A measly $200 probably for most of y'all in here. Y'all are whales, but you just keep to a schedule, and over time you'll get compound interest, and the group rate will fluctuate. But when we supply shock and keep going up, it'll max out at 0.5% a day. That, yeah, it'll build up and you can compound in, and yeah, it's going to be beautiful.
All right, now here is the let's play devil's advocate. I know nothing's going to happen to it, but say, what are the plans for if BUSD just disappears or if BNB crashes? What are the plans for that?
So BUSD is gone, and this ecosystem's no longer dependent on that. So futures used to be BUSD in and out, but now it's BNB in and out. So even when I come over here to your future and I go to deposit, it's going to ask me, and it's actually pretty cool. There's a min button right here. But for me to put in $200 worth of BNB, it tells me right now that's 0.63 BNB. If I put that in, that will go in here. The total value here is cash accounted. So this does not fluctuate with BNB volatility. This does not. The BNB coin price only affects your in and out. How much BNB you're going to take out versus how much you're putting in. That's all the BNB price does. Large, macro view, if, I believe, and I don't think this will happen, but BNB has a really bright future. But in a doomsday scenario, if BNB 100% completely crashed, okay, and BNB got wiped out off the face of the earth, well, then, Elephant Token, the whole system crashes. Everything on BSC crashes, basically. So there's nothing that can be done about that. But, the bet that you're willing to make is that BNB is going to be fine, which in all accounts it should be. So
yeah. Well, okay. Well, let's get back to the BUSD, because we do have some of the liquidity that's paired with BUSD. Actually,
yes.
About half of the liquidity is paired with BUSD at this point. So, is there any plans to go to strictly, BNB as far as the LP goes?
Yeah. So essentially, the BUSD elephant pair is something that we're just ignoring. So you have to remember, BUSD in the centralized world is gone. You can't issue anymore from Paxos. Thank you, SEC. But BUSD on chain is always going to be redeemable for $1. And if it ever dips below $1, you're talking years and years and years and years from right now. And in that amount of time, Elephant Token, which right now has all its guns aimed at the BNB pool. So when people deposit into futures or mint the NFTs or buy the Elephant Token, that's primarily aimed now at the BNB pair, from what I understand. So we lift up the BNB pair in that amount of time while BUSD is still redeemable for $1. We go parabolic on the BNB pair. And then BT has some options on how, he can spin up a third liquidity pool, maybe elephant paired with, I don't know, BTCB or USDC or something like that. And we'll just focus attention on the BNB and the new pool and leave the BUSD pool in the dust, and we'll drain out as much elephant token from that as we can and just kind of let that value sit there locked. But when we're super parabolic, it's not going to matter.
Right. Okay. And now kind of getting back to the futures a little bit, you said that your TVL, your total value locked, and your returns, your ROI on that total value locked, is just in dollar amount. So it doesn't fluctuate with the price of BNB. Now, BNB goes to $1,000, you're facing one hell of impermanent loss on that, wouldn't you say?
I mean, yeah, but most of the people that cash out, whatever they take out, if BNB is $1,000 and you have $1,000 worth of rewards, there's no taxes in and out of this, by the way. But when you claim out, you're going to claim out one BNB. And then, you could either just hold the BNB or turn it immediately into a stable. It doesn't matter what BNB price does, honestly. It's cash accounting. Even if this was a stable like USDC, you pull out $1,000, you're pulling out $1,000 worth of USDC. Just the fact that it's coming out as BNB doesn't matter for the cash accounting purposes. It matters for depositing. Well, no, it's still just $200 going in too, no matter the price of BNB. So really, yeah, it's a wash. It doesn't matter how it goes in and out. Just flip it into a stable as soon as you take it out.
Yeah, no, I get that. I was just saying, you're depositing BNB, but it's only taking the current dollar value at that time and
Correct.
locking it. So,
correct.
All that BNB that you deposited at $200 or $300 per BNB, when it hits $1,000 per BNB, that's a lot of BNB that you deposited that's now worth $1,000, but you're still only reflecting from the dollar value of when you deposited it.
Oh, right, yeah. So I see what you're saying. Like right now, it takes 0.6 BNB at $300 to put in, but then in hindsight, when you reflect 8 months from now, you're like, dang man, like BNB's $1,500 bucks, but way back when I put in the equivalent of like 3,000. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, you just got to focus in the here and now, basically, and not really. Yeah, I'm not worried about that. If anything, the people that are claiming out, like if I claim out, I like to actually hold it as BNB, understanding that BNB is going to flip upward. So right now, on the flip side of that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up into the bull. It would be kind of stupid to hold it in stables, knowing that that's just going to stay at $1 and BNB is going to go up. So yeah, it would be pretty retarded not to hold it in BNB.
Which why, yeah, futures isn't really the focus. It has its time and place. It's got its purpose for locking in funds and profits from other places and just steady, slow growth over time. But right now we're entering a bull, man. People need to be focused on these tokens, elephant token, trunk token, meme coins on Solana. Like this is an exciting time to be in crypto. I'm just arguing the case that elephant should be on that portfolio of yours and where you can park some of those profits where you win elsewhere for a really good store of value that elephant token has proven to be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, myself, I do have a nice, healthy bag of elephant token. I think I am going to be adding more trunk and throwing that in trumpet and letting that sit.
Yeah, no, that's a good play. I know a lot of people that are looking at that. Let me focus on Bertha one more time too, because it's centrally tied to even futures, liabilities and paying that out, NFTs, everything. But this is a spreadsheet that my friend Elephant Money Heard, his YouTube channel, go follow it, shout out. But he gave this to me. This is the Bertha Money Multiplier, okay? And I just want to give you guys an idea of what this effect I'm talking about is. As everything in Elephant Money is aimed at growing Bertha, and her dollar value skyrockets and holds value as it has done for the last, 3.5 months. How is that possible? What's going on here when you talk about this supply shock? And you remember this pie chart I was telling you about. The more we lock up in the protocol between the graveyard and Bertha, this protocol sings, okay? It'll sing you the best song, all right? But what happens here with the math is, in a nutshell, $1,000 can come into this BNB LP. It doesn't matter if it comes through futures or NFT mints or people actually buying the token. This $1,000 comes in, lifts the price appreciation just a hair, But because it's spread out across Bertha's 198 trillion tokens, she sees a US dollar value of 6,000. Let me run that back. $1,000 entering the ecosystem is 6x'd into Bertha in a value that she hodls. So remember that. All right. This is whale economics. This is the same thing that Elon Musk has when he has his Tesla shares, right? He has so many damn shares that the Tesla price can go up $1, but Elon Musk sees $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? That's the same whale effect happening right here with Bertha. That little bit of price appreciation went from a price per million of 0.27839. $1,000 comes in and it turns into 0.7841. You see how the 39 turned to a 41? That tiny decimal price appreciation that occurred spread out across Bertha's token count gives her a dollar value of this. So that's how you get this historical data right here. That's how you get this chart. She's retaining value like no other ecosystem in existence. And you can only do this with deep liquidity, right? And the way that it's engineered by BT. So another way to look at this too, this is an old chart. Hopefully EMH can give me a newer one, but this still gets the point across. But it's the elephant token, the treasury, Bertha, as she crosses 200 trillion, 225 trillion, 250 trillion. Look at what that $200 that goes into compounding your futures, for example, right? Look at what Bertha turns that $200 into, okay? Right now, we're sitting at about that 6x, right? $200 going in. Well, actually, no, this is dependent on different BNB prices, stuff like that. So just the concept here is as Bertha gets bigger, her multiplicative buying power gets larger. You see over time, her multiplicative dance gets crazier and crazier. 14x, 29x, 35x. There's a lot of variables that go into this, but this is the concept of elephant money. Money being hodled and multiplied by Bertha to get you this accurate data right here. So it's pretty crazy when you think about it, and that applies to futures. Someone puts $1,000 into futures, or technically $1,100. 1,000 of that buys elephant token. Bertha hodls $6,000 of that value. So even when someone needs to cash out $1,000, it just, Bertha just sells 1,000. She sells less tokens to meet that dollar cash accounting. So hopefully that's not over everyone's head, but had to throw that in there. It's very important.
Actually, I was going to ask, man, can you post the links or something for all of these charts and graphs? That way people can go over it, listen to the AMA again and kind of, slow it down for themselves so they can really grasp it.
Yeah, sure. I'll take the AMA posting that Big Kid put up there. I'll just reply to it, and I'll just dump a bunch of links and images that people can chew on.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. So that's pretty much it. Unless there's any audience questions, man. We've gone through everything.
Yeah, I'm sure some people do have some questions. I know Ken wanted to hear, the updates and everything else. So anybody has any questions or comments for SK, go ahead and come on up and ask away. So you guys understood everything. Literally every part of that you understood.
Zconda, I think you have some questions, sir.
I'd rather him do it at the end because he went over it already before I jumped in.
Oh, good. A comprehensive AMA with SK. That's what you get.
All right. Well, I guess let's see. Does anybody have any in chat? No? All right. I guess we kind of explained everything thoroughly. Yeah, SK, give us a call to action, man. One last call to action. Why should people be grabbing those bags, filling those trunks, with elephant money.
Yeah, man, I'll just close it out by saying that, really just take everything into consideration. The fact that this in 2 months' time turns 3 years old and we have deep liquidity. This is not pump and dump trash. And we have mathematics, right, that have caused and we've learned the supply shocks of 2022, 2023, and the third time in a row, we're going to get it in 2024. We've already got a Bertha that is healthy, that is locked down, that cannot be flash loaned. Everything is watertight. This, in my opinion, is the best bucket in DeFi. You pour water in and it doesn't leak. Okay. So with a healthy Bertha, focus on draining the LPs. That's the mission statement for 2024. But we get Elephant Token into the hands of Bertha or users. It doesn't matter. And we have another third parabolic run up, which is going to be more explosive than anything we've seen before, especially given that we're going into a bull run and built atop BNB primarily as a number 3 holder. So yeah, this is one of the best financial cooperatives out there, if not the only one that does it the way that we do. There have been several clones of Elephant Money. They've all failed because you can't clone liquidity and you can't clone community. Every one of those clones have failed. This is an amazing protocol. So hopefully you guys learned something today. Thank you.
100%, man, and you're exactly right. You can't fake or clone that liquidity, and nobody else has the herd.
Yes, sir.
All right. With that said, thank you again for coming and giving us really bullish updates. And everybody, if you're not already in there, go get in the TG. Check everything out. Do your own research. SK is going to be dropping links for all of those charts and everything that he's been showing, so you guys can get a better understanding of it. I'm going to wrap up the recording.